Okay, so welcome to the Data Exploration and Explanation in Natural Language demo. I'm Kate and I work at the Zurich University of Applied Sciences in Zurich, Switzerland. And today we're going to be looking at a natural language to SQL system that enables you to talk to your database. Can you still see the full screen?
Yes, all good.
Before I get started with the actual demo, I'm going to explain a little bit about the system. So as we've heard in all of the previous talks, building a useful natural language system for databases is a long-standing challenge. Natural language is pretty ambiguous. Even humans miscommunicate sometimes, so it's especially difficult for a computer to understand natural language, especially without any context. On the right side of my presentation, you can see how we typically go through asking a natural language question and then going to a SQL query. But in order to do that, we actually need a lot of background information. We need information about the schema. We need to know which tables we need to query and which columns we need to look at and the relationships that are present in the database. And then we also need to know SQL in order to be able to write a query and execute it. And for that, we need ValueNet. So what is ValueNet actually? It's a end-to-end system that translates natural language to SQL. As you can see in the diagram on the right, ValueNet uses a neural network with an encoder-decoder architecture. And we trained the base system using the spider data set. And then we fine-tuned it using 200 or so queries so that we could use it with the Kosten database, which is actually what you'll see in the demo. Additionally, I wanted to mention that we don't actually translate natural language to SQL directly. We use an intermediary language to sort of bridge the gap between natural language and SQL. And so I'll show you this intermediary language in the next slide. Okay, this is SemQL, the intermediary language that we use. And as you can see, it contains most of the typical SQL operations and aggregations that we use in writing queries. So now we're going to go to the demo, and I'll be demoing ValueNet on the policy-making database that was mentioned in the previous talks. And I'm just going to refer to this as the Kosten database. So I'm going to stop sharing my presentation now and start sharing my demo. Okay. And here we go. That's for natural language. Welcome to the inode pilot web page. As you can see here, we have a search box for natural language queries, and to the right, we have two different buttons. If we click on the gears button, we can see that we have a couple of different options, but today I'm only going to be demoing ValueNet, and we're going to be using the Kosten database. Additionally, we have these two parameters, the maximum number of interpretations per system and the maximum number of results per interpretation, but we're just going to leave these as they are for the moment. When we click on the question mark button, we get a list of natural language queries. These have been compiled to help jumpstart the user's data exploration process. So today we're going to start with this query here, what's the total cost of all projects? And we can execute it by clicking on this button. Okay, and here's our results. In the little pop-up, you can see the SQL query that was predicted by ValueNet. It's a sum over the total cost column, which is exactly what we were expecting. And down here, you can see the result of executing the query. Here we have the SQL to natural language interpretation from Logos, the system that's going to be demoed in the next part of this demo. And we can see that this is also the correct interpretation of the SQL query. Let's have a look at one more query. Let's have a look at all of the institutions in the Kosten database that are located in Italy.
Can execute again. And here we have the results. In the pop-up, we have a join with 2 tables and a filter on the country name column, where the country name is Italy. And if we go down here, we can expand, and then we can see 5 different results from the database of institutions that are located in Italy. Okay, so that's it.